Let's see. I guess I did this out of order. Can I get someone to take notes for the meeting today?
I could give it a shot.
Great, thanks, Tim. Okay, then after that is new faces. And looking around, I feel like everyone here has been to previous meetings. So I will skip over that item. And then we get to the one and only thing on the list currently, which is the currently open RFCs. So starting from the bottom, we've got this RFC for bill of materials work. This one has been stalled in some sort of state for a while. Is there an update on this, Sophie or Forrest?
The only update we have is there was some investigation about how in the dependency server we are doing our license scanning around, and some claims around the confidence that we have in the licenses that we have, I guess. Nothing to really the core architecture. It's more of a, hey, if you're going to really get screwed over by compliance, you still need to do some due diligence. You can't just take everything we have at 100% face value. More of a butt covering than anything else. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure what else we need to do to move this forward.
Okay. I will, if y'all think this is ready for approvals, then I will huddle with Emily, who's not able to make the meeting today, and the two of us can talk about whether or not there's anything left to be done on this front, or if we can merge it in.
Well, the last leg, actually, I think on top of the licenses was the SWID and software ID and package URL investigation. And I think we've come to a conclusion about software IDs, and we're still trying to decide exactly what we want to do and with package URLs, and that's kind of like an open question we have. And whatever we decide there will either need to be added to this RFC before it can be approved, or we can just not do it and leave the RFC as it is. In that case, it'd be like ready for approvals.
Okay. Then yeah, I guess we'll figure out what's remaining on those two items, and then we can move it forward. Sound good? Okay. Going back to the list here, this one moved back into draft state. Arjun, I know there was like a list of tasks I gave you. Do we have a status update on that, or is this just still ongoing?
Yeah, nothing much there. So I think once we have more confidence that those things are done, then we'll bring back the RFC and try to promote it.
Okay, cool. Last RFC I see here is this one: extract jam into dedicated repository. I unfortunately have had back-to-back meetings today and have not had a chance to read this one. Forrest, you want to give us a little summary?
Yeah, sure. So currently, Buildpacks that are using Packet for their library use the Jam CLI to pack their Buildpacks for both online and offline distribution. However, Jam has been continued to be built upon since it was originally conceived, and it now does a lot of things that are kind of independent of the Packet library. So things like summarizing the contents of the build package, updating your builder TOML files, and updating Buildpack TOML files for both meta Buildpacks and implementation Buildpacks. So in some respects, I feel that it's kind of become its own tool, and even more so with the introduction of asset packages, which will be a generic way to offline package your Buildpacks. I think that Jam can move from being a packet specific tool to a tool that could be used by Buildpack authors in general, kind of regardless of what library you're working with. So I would like to move it to a dedicated repository so that it could have its own development and we can surface it as a tool that could be used by all sorts of Buildpack authors. I do have, and this isn't a question that I put in the bottom because it's kind of not 100% related to this RFC, but I do have some questions about, I think regardless of regardless, we should move this because it's a different thing. And I think that the versions shouldn't of Packet and Jam shouldn't be tied together anymore, blah, all sorts of other benefits. I do have some questions about libcnb's packaging tool and what that currently does, as well as potentially trying to maybe move Jam beyond just being in Paketo even maybe. I know that there's some Buildpack author initiatives, so maybe trying to having this in its own repository, we can show it off even more in a more light and potentially even get it promoted higher and make it an even more useful tool for Buildpack authors. So I think that's like some really, really future pointing goals, but I think my immediate motivation and goals are probably enough to justify moving it.
Cool. Yeah. I think just like separation of their kind of concerns. I know that in the past we'd gotten some feedback that it was hard to understand where Jam came from. They see it in like some scripts and stuff, and then where exactly did the CLI tool come from? It's not especially clear that it's like coming from this other repo called Packet. Cool. Well, I will take a read later and yeah, give you some feedback.
Absolutely.
Anything else on this last RFC? Okay. I'm not seeing any other items on the agenda. It's the last call for agenda items before we adjourn. It doesn't sound like there are any. So it's a very, very short and sweet meeting. I will see you all next week then. Have a good week.